All right, everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's happening?
Just wait until you popped on and talk about this little slate. It seems like everybody's losing interest in baseball right now, so maybe it's time that we win this tournament. When you're great at winning tournaments, but people don't care about, right?
Oh, I'm the expert.
That's your thing. This is the
That's
time.
it. This is the total
Sheet
sheet
day.
slate. It is the
Yep.
sheet slate, isn't it?
It is. It's a sheet slate unless it gets the Bobby slate with the 3-3-2s and stuff like that.
That's right. 100%.
Don't you think when nobody has a 5-run total outside of Coors that those are the kind that you can kind of get a little creative with, just pick your best plays? Because honestly, like somebody's going to go off, but it's really, really hard to pick who that's going to be, right? Don't you think?
I have a question for you. This is really just a random question. Who do you like at catcher tonight?
So what's really weird is it like in a vacuum, if you just told me I had to play one catcher, no stacks involved, but it was one catcher, I would take the guy you said earlier, and it's the one who no one will play. It's Sean Murphy.
Yeah.
My actual plays are more stack related. I'm using it as a filler piece, whether it's a 4 or 5 man, or a 3 man even. Elias Diaz would be the natural one. He'll be popular. Again, winds blowing in from left in Colorado. Should have some effect on that, but it is a lot warmer today. Left center, to be honest, from there. But I really, first of all, I really love, I've been killing it with the bets lately. I hope people do check out the bet section of our thing, because I'll put like 4 up a day. I'm literally in the last like 10 days, like I must be at 80% or so. And
Oh, really?
It's almost all over unders. It's like the end of the NBA season. You know, I mean, you have a huge advantage to tell based on how people are playing, what they're doing. And the fact is, more pitchers generally means less runs if it's organized that way. And I just don't see that Coors game being it's been 11 total forever. I think it's missed 9 out of 11 days or something like that, the total. So I just want to highlight that one. But there's a lot of over-under stuff that we've been really, really good on. I also really I never got to the Royals as a stack. I have tons of Royals as like little parts of things, but no Royal stacks. I'm very high on the Giants. I like that they put 3 lefties in the lineup. It makes me feel comfortable with those lefties. And it allows me to, Wilmer Flores shouldn't be out of the game unless it's like a late situational pinch fielding kind of situation. Evan Longoria could easily be pulled. So could Slater. So could Davis. But Longoria is the least likely of those. David VR has been playing against righties, so I'm assuming he won't leave. So I'm very into San Francisco tonight. And everybody says the first game after Coors and all these things. I'm very high. I have San Francisco in order. I have it listed on my name here. I have the San Francisco, the Yankees, the Mets, San Diego, Texas, Colorado, and the Dodgers. That's my order.
First thing I'd like to mention, if you weren't following this from football, talk about Vegas speak. So the Chargers were a 7-point favorite over Jacksonville. Yeah. Herbert was like very hush-hush, questionable, whatever. The line moved from 7 down to 3 in like 10 minutes today.
Yeah, so that feels like Herbert's not playing.
Well, so they didn't actually announce anything. So I gambled. I actually bet on the Chargers minus the 3. Just hoping that it was that he just rallies and then plays, because if they announce he's going to play, the line will move back up to 7, and then I can get the most enormous middle ever. And worst case scenario, it drops to 2.5, and I made a kind of a sort of a bad bet. Yeah, so I took a shot. We'll see what happens.
I'm just going to say one thing about the Chargers, that in general, they always play close games, like either side of it. I don't know how they do it. They're talented at every position. It's been the same truth. And you know what? It's hard. You have 16 games a year, 17 games now. But I look at my whole life, the last 25 years of the Chargers, and it's basically the same story every year. And I love Justin Herbert. I think he's super talented. I was really high on him before the draft. I liked him in college. But I just want to point out that I think it's at the point of his career now, and he's going to have the reverse effect if he doesn't start winning titles soon. Pat Mahomes is sort of before the year was he's not even that good. He won't be anything with Tyreek Hill. Pat Mahomes is going to be every bit as good no matter what happens. He's one of the best quarterbacks. He'll end up as one of the best 5 ever. He might be the best ever. Justin Herbert is getting put in a category that I don't think he's even given any reason for us to show that we respect them. So have the
They
Chargers.
haven't done anything.
They haven't done anything. No, as a team even. And look, yeah, you could say they're young and there's this and that.
Okay, so
Keenan Allen's not young. Mike Williams isn't young anymore. This is a loaded team at every position. You would take them. So if you can't win with this team, then we got to start thinking about things. And by the way, for what it's worth, I do like that game a ton for Sunday. Like I really, really like.
Well, not if Herbert's not playing.
I still do.
Okay.
I think Jacksonville can put up points. I don't think they've had a chance to really show it. They had a really terrible first half week 1 against Washington. Other than that, they've looked like they could do whatever they want.
I mean, I think if Herbert's out, I think obviously Eckler gets an upgrade.
Yeah, the only question is will the other quarterbacks, will the backup, be willing to check down as much, or is that going to be like the natural thing? I would lean towards the tight ends and towards Keenan Allen a lot in that situation, because they'll have 15 of their 65 offensive plays will be drawn up for Keenan Allen routes if the game is close.
So this is what I'm doing tonight. I'm doing exactly what I said I was going to do. So the first thing I'm doing, which only because I'm going out for dinner, I'm Xing out the Minnesota game. Even though, like, if I were around, I would recommend actually somehow keeping some ammo to maybe play Ohtani if like the weather looks like it might. I was improve, but if they like don't postpone it by like 7:30 or something like that, I would take a shot at that. I can't because I'm not going to be here.
I 100% agree with you, but I even would say the same. I would with Varlin. I would play both. I would play both pitchers in that game. They would be the guys in for me. So I'm with you.
But but also what I am doing. So I'm Xing out that game just because I can't deal with it if it gets postponed. I'm not going to deal with it from where I am. But I am putting my money where my mouth is as far as my pitching pivots. I have 30% Brady Singer, and I have 30%.
Oh.
Yeah, and I have
30%. I love this.
And I have 25% Springs.
I love the Springs especially.
Yeah, and I have and obviously you might have I have a Singer Giolito and fading the top guys.
I would throw a Singer Springs in and with whatever chalk you like.
Yeah, you could do that too. The Singer Springs you could do also
because that could be the 1-2 scoring combination.
I have a Singer Springs with dude. This is like way too much, but way too off the board. But I have a Singer Springs with like the Giants. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. By the way, I think the Giants are going to end up popular. I just think too many people are sharp. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We see it. The roof's open. This run line feels very low for them here. I think they end up in the double digits in the high buy-ins, and I think they're being projected. I think the lefty, like Yastrzemski, is probably like the best player on the slate now. Because still, if they bring in a lefty and it's late in the game, they will still pinch hit for him. They're capable of it. They have other guys on the bench who are right-handed, like Tiago Estrada, who's actually got power. Because they released this lineup, the Giants, Yastrzemski is like, I really like the Giants tonight. The problem is that it feels like one of those nights, maybe they score 9 runs and you only get like no more than 12 out of a player. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what my fear is.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, like, I think that it's a really, and I have a great track record. You think I'm biased. I am biased towards the Giants. When I bet the Giants, I usually win. Doesn't mean I always win. It means when I win, though, I often win big. And this is a night where I'm betting on the Giants in my biggest buy-ins.
The other thing I'm doing is as far as the hitting goes. If I run Saberson, it's going to give me 100% San Diego. So you know what? I'm left to my own devices, and I'm going to have to put in the teams I want. So here's the teams that I put in. I put in Texas, a decent amount of them. I put in the Giants. I put in the Dodgers. And I put in the Yankees. Like those are the teams I forced into the equation. And I have 5-man stacks of all of those teams. And what ended up happening as a result of that, and you kind of appreciate this, that I'm still getting like a bunch of San Diego exposure, but it's almost all in like 2-man stacks.
Well, that's to be honest, like that's the way it should be. Like that's a good strategy for tournament players. Like, you just say, look, I want like.
That's why I said you would like this.
No. But I'm saying exactly. But if I was making a script tonight with 150 lineups, I would have one lefty from San Diego in every lineup probably.
And the other thing I'll just
no more than three.
This is I'm telling you, this is the Bobby lineup. In the big one, I have a 4-3-1.
Oh, so, all right. Yeah, I have a 4-3-1 as well.
Yeah, and I like it.
I love it too. It's all West Coast.
I have a 4-3-1, and
what if we have the same lineup? Is your shortstop Corey Seager?
I have a 4-3-1 with no pitcher over 9K. How about that?
Can I ask you if Corey Seager is your shortstop?
He is.
What if we have the same freaking line? We have different pitchers probably.
I have no pitcher over 9K.
Okay, so I'm very comfortable with going for gold here. I did add a couple things to my pitching pool. I love Rodon, honestly.
Ooh.
I fell in love with this play. Like, it's just the Giants are a weird team because they're always competitive, so it's kind of tricky to figure out what they'll do when they're not. And I know Rodon was having a good game the last time out, and they cut it short against Atlanta. I could see them going right back to letting him throw 100 if things are going well. This is the kind of like you see a no-hitter through 6 with 10 Ks with 75 pitches, and you're like, why didn't we play Rodon? I don't know. So Rodon is my pivot off of the main stuff. But in my big buy-ins, it's Cole and Nola. In my other ones, it's a lot of Bassett and Springs. I also think that the Oakland, not as a stack, but for fillers, are the other team that I'm finding as fillers where I'm not playing Bassett. And you know what? Everything you do is going to be off the board tonight because San Diego is going to have exposure on a slate like this that no baseball team should ever theoretically have. No players below 10%. But again, it doesn't matter when you're using them as your complementary stack. Juan Soto is the best play on the slate, but to be overweight on him even at 30% is fine. What's not okay is playing a 5-man San Diego stack and expecting to win any money unless you're playing Springs and Singer. And even that, you're asking for everything to go perfectly for Springs and Singer. Yep. It's really, really hard to win a tournament stacking the most popular team when that team is like legitimately 9 of the top 10 players or 8 of the top 10 players owned will be from that game, on that side.
Yep.
So it just feels very obvious to pivot off of it. I don't care what happens, what the end result is. Whatever runs come, I hope they come. I hope they actually do come from Soto. I don't mind eating chalk when I'm playing Texas at 0% ownership. Even the Yankees are unowned, other than Judge. Everybody's unowned. Like, there's nobody double-digit owned basically outside of San Diego, Colorado. Maybe Will Smith gets 10%. Maybe Wilmer Flores gets 10%. I think the Mets are really sneaky here. Must-win situation. Pretty decent hitting weather for Oakland. They already play in a terrible hitter's park, so the numbers shouldn't adjust much. You have Vientos at 2K batting 5th, right. Shortstop and third base eligible. You've got Alonso, who is just throughout his career and this year massacred left-handed pitching in terms of home run per at bat. Francisco Lindor always been better with power from the right side. Mark Canha 3,900, 2,500 on FanDuel. These are it just feels like the stack that could get there. So I like the coastal teams tonight. I mean,
yeah.
I'm into the Padres are obvious, whatever, but they're my complimentary stack, and they'll be played with Yankees and Dodgers a little bit, but mostly these others, the Mets in Oakland and San Francisco and Arizona. I just love those. I love just making my lineups about that. Make it a small slate. The one team I didn't get to, if I was playing 150 tonight, I'd feel really bad not to have more Houston exposure. But I'm okay with it with playing less lineups, But Houston is the team that could put up 14 and it wouldn't surprise me. I really love Nola tonight. I think he's the number 1 pitcher on the slate. I am playing Cole in my highest buy-in on FanDuel. I'm still trying to figure out why I'm doing that. I don't really know, to be honest with you. It just feels weird to play them at the same price, basically. But I actually think Nola is the best play. And if there was any ownership discount for Nola on FanDuel, I would play him over Cole. But the Yankees still haven't clinched. It's Garrett Cole at home, and his struggles with Boston have been on the road. He's mostly been very, very good at home. I don't know. I can't say that it's very clear that Cole and Nola aren't the two obvious pitchers, and if you're playing cash, that's what you should be doing. But I love the pivots, and it's weird to me. I like Giolito a lot tonight, but I'm still going to end up below the field because why am I trying to play a non-ceiling? I mean, he is a ceiling guy. We just know it from reputation, from history. This year, he hasn't been.
No.
Why am I playing him ahead of these guys when pricing isn't that much of a thing? You know, you have a 2K catcher for San Francisco. You have everybody for San Francisco is crazy cheap. San Diego is super cheap. Like, you can do what you want. You don't need to worry about the pricing. The only thing that changes if you want to play like the Yankees with the Mets. That's the only time it starts to change. And even then, you still have the 3K guy for the Mets. I really like this Texas thing. I think it's very speculative. Like, I think Cody Morris, I looked into it more. From everything I can read, he's going to be a very, very good pitcher. And there's a very good chance that we should be talking about playing him instead of talking about Texas. But at the same time, we know it's the range of outcomes. And there are, 6 really good bats in that Texas lineup. If you can get, the other guys to get on base 35% of the time tonight, I just feel like the opportunity is there for them to go off.
Yeah, you know who I'm playing on FanDuel?
Who's that?
This is like really probably not the best play, but I'm going to be playing Giolito on FanDuel.
So that's your way of breaking down. It's an ownership. So you're doing the game theory thing where you're going, okay, so you're going to have this guy so high owned, so why don't we play him over here? I love that strategy.
And look, getting a quality start out of him is going to be really difficult, but
maybe not. I mean, I don't know.
We'll see.
I mean, for what it's worth, he's the second highest projected player. I don't think he's low enough owned on FanDuel for me to play him.
Okay.
Like, I want him at 10-5. You know what I mean? I want him to outdo Cole and Nola if I'm going to play him over there. It's just so hard for him to win it. And do you need that extra 1,300 to 1,000?
Wilmer Flores, you can play in 3 positions.
Yeah.
On FanDuel.
FanDuel, you can do everything now. It's actually like some of the things they've made make it a better site, but the tournaments often suck there. So you're like, a lot of the things that you're trying to get different in and do on DraftKings, it doesn't even matter on FanDuel because you can play 4 top players and then figure out the rest. And that's basically what you should be doing in baseball. Like, you know what I mean? Your top stack with your 4 best hitters. It's very hard to do that on DraftKings in general.
Yeah.
In FanDuel, it's the easiest thing in the world. Like, play Cole with Judge, Stanton, Donaldson, Cabrera or something. You know what I mean? Okay, well, there's my stack. And that's really easy to fill in the other pieces with San Francisco and the Mets.
$3,000 player.
It's going to be really weird tonight when the Blue Jays put up like 15 runs and I feel like an idiot. I love Springs. I think he's awesome, but I get and you're biased, like in a good way too. You get biased towards really good pitchers.
Right.
But at the same time, like, this is still a young guy that, a couple of those hard hit balls get through in the first and you get a walk there and then a grand slam. Next thing you know, you're playing a bullpen game for a team that, while they're playing for something, they're playing for like home field advantage in a short playoff series. They're not playing for everything. Right. It's a 6-run game. And Toronto's is that team, like, we see it over and over again. They may not score 10 runs for 3 weeks, but then they score 27 and then they score 18 and they score 22. They've done this all this year. You know what I mean? That's my only, and they crush. Just historically, they have 3 of the top 9 players in baseball on the same lineup against left-handed pitching. And it's a good lefty. So it takes away a little bit of that love, but that's pretty incredible.
What is Cronenworth on? He's 3,500 over there. Okay.
Yeah, they priced up everybody on San Diego. I don't even have San Diego, to be honest, on that site. Dodgers lineup just came out, by the way. No Freddie Freeman, Mookie, Trey. They're just taking turns giving the best players a day off. Will Smith, Justin Turner batting cleanup. If I told you what Justin Turner was doing this year, batting cleanup Sheets, I don't care what anybody says. You could argue this is the greatest team in recent history, and I don't think that you could have a whole lot of other arguments against it. Like, they're so good, the 1 through 18, their bench players would be an above 500 team.
Freddie Freeman is out, you're telling me?
Yeah, and Turner's batting cleanup. That's what I was going to say.
What about Taylor? Is he in?
Turner might be the worst player to ever bat cleanup for a team like this.
Is Chris Taylor in?
I'm double checking the lineup real quick. Just froze me out. I think he's in there. Oh, they just retook. This happens every time I try to refresh my page, and then they take away the lineup. I think Justin Turner. I think that Chris Taylor is in. I'm not 100% sure though. I'll double check. I know Muncy, Turner, and Betts are playing. Also, they kind of want to break the win record at home. Yeah, Taylor's batting 6th. But I think that Trace Thompson is a really good play batting 7th if you're going to play the Dodgers. And this kid Vargas can play. So I really like the other thing that I did. I'm just looking at all my pitchers. My highest owned pitchers are Cole and Nola. Again, I love Rodon, Bassett, and Springs to be contrarian, and I like Giolito is the guy who I like, but I'm going to be below the field on.
Yeah.
I really do wish he was, though, like 10-5, just because you get him at 1% on FanDuel.
Right.
Like 12%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't it worth it just to it's like at that point, if you're paying him at 9.5, you're playing him at 10.5 on FanDuel because of the flex pricing.
Yeah.
So I don't really see the advantage of it. I actually think Rodon might be the sharpest thing, but he even might get too much ownership. Maybe it's Ohtani. It's just that game just worries me.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody's going to play Andrew Heaney, and he might strike out like 9 guys in 4 innings, but that is probably all he's going. Like 4
definitely possible.
He might get over 2 strikeouts an inning and still not. Jeffrey Springs is the guy who I think on FanDuel that you can make a really good case for, because if you do want to save, like 7,900 does change things, and you don't need to do all this stuff. There's no reason. I'm just throwing it out there that I think Jeffrey Springs is like a really, really good play, and he's 7,900. At the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if he got lit up. Well, I mean, it only wouldn't surprise me in the fact that it's the Blue Jays, but in general, like, the guy is, of the most talented pitchers on the slate, it's Cole, Nola, Springs, in my opinion. And maybe include Rodon in that, but I think it's really close with those guys. I know you hate NBA, or everybody hates NBA because of all the stuff, but I'm really excited for the NBA this year.
Oh yeah.
I think that it's the toughest game. It's by far the hardest to win at.
Yeah, that makes it fun, man. I mean,
yeah, but like there's the most edge to be gained too,
that's
and
what I
like
mean.
all the little bizarreness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like. Sounds good to me.
Hey, I won 6 figures last year twice in NBA, and once it was with Terry Taylor.
That's
who
right.
saved me 45 fantasy points at minimum cost. And the other time it was Isaiah Jackson when no one played him because he went up to 5K and he put up 50 fantasy points. So any DK pitchers under 7K, I just think this is the wrong slate to do that. Sheets, would you agree or disagree?
Yes.
Because some people are going to put up games. If there was one I had to pick, it would be Jake Odorizzi.
Huh.
I actually think that with the wind blowing in and so many righties for Philly and the cold weather, I think you could make an argument that Odorizzi could somehow have things magical and put up 20 plus fantasy points. But he's 6,100. I think that would be reasonable. I just don't think it's the right slate to do it. If there was one at 7K flat, even with the wind blowing out, even with his sometimes struggles, Eduardo Rodriguez is probably too talented to be directly 7K. Like he has the ability to put up 30 plus. So he would be the other home run hitter that I would look for down in the bottom range. But everybody else is very suspect. And it doesn't mean Marco Gonzalez can't have, go 7 innings and have 4 Ks and no earned runs or something weird like that. But if you want strikeouts and a chance to actually win and compete on the plate, I think that Eduardo Rodriguez is probably your best bet, followed by Odorizzi. And honestly, if we really want to get creative, if you're playing 150, I would have 5% of Rich Hill.
Wow.
He's 6,300. He does, like every third game, he puts up like 25 plus fantasy points. You know what I mean? It's not like the Yankees don't strike out. They're patient, but Rich Hill is like his career. I know his numbers are a little bit all over the place now, but he's a guy who actually can control, and he also can. I mean, there was one year where he had the lowest, I think it was like 5 years ago. He had the lowest batting average against for any righty. And he's a lefty. But of all pitchers to righties, he had the lowest batting average against. So maybe you hope it just works right there for him. But those are home run, like long shot things. Those are not things you should be making a staple of your lineups. You shouldn't be playing these guys. It's just to get way different for the sake of getting way different, because you're trying to beat 5,000, 10,000 people, whatever it is.
So would you say you were doing FanDuel? You're playing Nola?
No, I have half Nola. I have one Springs. I guess I'm a little more than half Nola, but my big buy-in has Cole. Can I get away with it, Cheats?
Sure. I mean,
like, why do we have to get creative all the time about you know what I mean? It's like poker. It's like when someone successfully 4-bets 3 times, what happens the one time when you have ace king suited and you get 5-bet? Like,
right.
Like what you're praying for a 50-50, you know what I mean? Or a weird random bluff. Like, yeah, great. That all works out for you. But like, do you have to be that creative all the time? I don't think you have to.
You know, I don't think I have enough of. I don't think I have enough Houston.
It's because you're playing multiple lineups. I feel very, like I said, if I was playing a bunch of lineups, they'd be the team I was the most afraid of not having. But I'm not playing enough lineups to where they matter.
Yeah, I think I'm good. I think I'm good with what I'm doing here. All right, I'm gonna go. I will see you Sunday.
All right, buddy. Have a great time. Have a good night. Say hi to Mrs. Sheets, and have a great evening. And guys, good luck, everybody. And we'll see you guys later on in Discord or